Hey, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Preston. Having worked many years as a professional recruiter, I've acquired unique insights, advice, and perspective that I hope can be helpful to you all. In this video, we're going to talk about the resume and the most common mistakes I come across as a recruiter. This is one of the most important pieces of paper you will have to perfect if you want to get that dream job. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell as it's completely free and really helps us out a lot. Let's get into it. Have you ever applied to tons and tons of jobs only to not hear back from any of them even though you feel like you're qualified? Well, there's a chance that it could be a mistake or two on your resume that's getting you rejected. As the average recruiter or hiring manager only spends a mere seconds to scan your resume, it's crucial that you put your best leg forward and give the best first impression to show how great of a fit you actually are. So, in no particular order, here are 10 mistakes you have to stop right now. Spelling and grammatical errors. I know, this is super obvious, but the only reason it is in this video is because you would be shocked how often this still happens. Whether it's fresh out of college grads or experienced professionals with at least 5 years of experience, I'm still shocked to see the number of errors that we do on a weekly basis. Make sure you triple check your resume. Even better, have someone else reread your resume, and then once they're done, give it to someone else. You can also use free software like Grammarly that scans your text for errors. Some of the most common mistakes are inconsistent verb tenses, for example, writing about previous jobs in the present tense, hyphens, or just general carelessness. Do whatever you have to because this is the easiest way your resume can go straight to the rejection pile. Bad formatting decisions. When it comes to formatting or the overall aesthetics of your resume, I am a believer that less is more. With font type, err on playing it safe and choose only ones that are traditional and easy to read like Calibri, Arial, Times New Roman, or Helvetica. For font size, don't be too small or too big. Don't go any smaller than 10 and no larger than 12. As for styling, keep the page white and make sure each section clearly is distinct from the others. Unless you are a professional designer, I would not recommend you add graphics, charts, or other visual elements in it. Your job is to make the recruiter or hiring manager's lives easier and not the other way around. Chances are, if the information on your resume isn't easy to read or readily available, you might just get skipped over. Also, keep your resume short. Your resume should only be about 1 to 2 pages max. If you have a long career, focus on the past 10 years of your career to help you keep the length reasonable. The longer it is, the harder it would be for recruiters to find the facts they're looking for and increases your chance ultimately of getting skimmed over. Unless you have worked 25 plus years or perhaps as an academic researcher, where you have to list all of your published works, try to keep it within 2 pages as best as you can. Finally, structure is important as well. You want to make sure your resume tells a clear story that showcases the most important details in a clear and easily understandable way. There are different ways to structure your resume, from a chronological style that focuses on your experience, a functional style that focuses on your skill set, or a combination of both. For more information on these different structures, make sure you watch my previous video on how to create the perfect resume. Don't include a photo or headshot. Unless you're applying to be a model for a commercial or for some fashion show runway, don't include a photo or a headshot of yourself. While it still may be practiced internationally or perhaps in another industry, unless you have a 100% reason why you should include one, I will leave it out and use the space for more pressing information. If a company really wants to look you up, they can simply Google you, look you up on social media, or meet you in person for interviews. As a resume should only be 1 to 2 pages long, you only have limited space to work with, so make sure you continue to be laser focused with the information you're presenting, not focusing on achievements. This is super important. For this mistake, most people are focusing too much on the responsibilities rather than what they actually achieved at the job. At the end of the day, employers don't care what you did at your job, but rather what you accomplished. Listing your activities doesn't show employers in any way how well you actually performed. Include numbers and use action verbs over passive words at the start of each sentence to really emphasize the impact and difference you made. Did your actions result in an X increase in revenue or percentage increase in savings? Or did some of the work you did help the company get more funding or new corporate partnerships? Focus on tangible results versus simply a job description. Not modifying your resume. Tell me if this rings a bell. You made a great resume that illustrates your marketing experience. From your research, you identified a good handful of options, and then you blast your resumes to all of those different jobs. You rinse and repeat and apply to more and more companies using the same resume and the same method, and then you wonder why at the end of the day you're not hearing back from anyone. I get it. Modifying or tweaking your resume takes time and effort, but sending the same resume to multiple jobs that require a different set of skills or knowledge can end up backfiring on you. Even if they're in the same industry, no company is the exact same, so it's absolutely important to tailor your resume to the specific needs and wants of each company. Receiving a generic or non-tailored resume can rub an employer off the wrong way as well, and have them really feel like you aren't making any effort or you just don't care. Depending on the role and the company, you could be competing against hundreds to thousands of people, so you really want to make sure you're putting in the time to show employers why they should consider and hire you for the role over anyone else. In this case, while you should definitely apply to multiple companies during your search, you should also focus more on the quality and make sure each resume is perfectly suited to whatever company you're applying to. Dive in the company's website and job descriptions and really pay attention to the keywords and phrases that they use so that you can highlight similar language in your resume. If one company is really looking for someone that has great social media experience and you've done quite a bit of that in your current and past jobs, make sure you highlight and emphasize that. If another company is looking for someone who has done a lot of email marketing or brand marketing and you've done that in your past jobs, definitely highlight that and not too much of your social media experience. Missing, incorrect, or inappropriate contact information. You spent all of this time making an awesome resume, and then when a company or a recruiter wants to reach out to you, they can't because you didn't provide any contact information. Just keep this simple and make sure you provide the best email address and phone number in the minimum for the companies to reach you. Not to mention the obvious, but please make sure to double check the info or update it if you recently changed your email address or your phone number. Finally, for the email address, if you're still using an original email with questionable words or phrases that you made in middle or high school, make sure you use a more traditional, appropriate one. While it could be really funny, the last thing you want is for your email to get all the attention in the wrong way. If you have other links like a GitHub account, personal website, or even a portfolio site, definitely include that as well. Bad summary. While having a summary section is debatable, you want to make sure that if you're going to have one, that it is 100% relevant and customized to the job you're applying to. Your summary is essentially a 1 to 3 sentence high-level sales pitch on you, who you are, what you've done, and how you can contribute to the company. Stay away from using generic words or phrases here. Be as specific as possible, incorporate action words, and tailor it to the needs and wants of the prospective company. Instead of saying experienced sales professional who is seeking a challenging role, how about something like an accomplished sales professional with a track record of creating high-performing teams that help 2 companies go public? Mentioning irrelevant skills or hobbies. While listing both hard and soft skills are very important in this section, make sure you don't get too carried away believing that the more skills there are, the more impressive you'll look. Rule of thumb here is that whether you're applying for a technical or non-technical role, you want to list the most relevant or unique skills that will be most in demand for the job. If you're a software engineer, definitely list your strongest languages, frameworks, or tech stack. Or if you're a digital product designer, definitely list the tools you use the most, like Sketch, InVision, Azure, or Figma. What you don't want to do is take up more space with obvious skills like Microsoft Word, Excel, or Outlook, as most jobs and companies will assume you already know the basic computer skills. As another example, you want to avoid using and listing many words or phrases like problem solver, hard worker, leadership, teamwork, because not only are they overused, but if these same words can also be deciphered from your work experience section, it doesn't really make sense to fill out more space to mention them. As for your hobbies, most likely you can leave this section out, as you should probably focus more on the details that really matter. But if you feel like your hobby is relevant to the job you're applying to in any way and can provide a compelling narrative or additional perspective, perhaps you can leave it in. As an example, if you're interested in applying to a video hosting company and your hobby is video editing, perhaps it's useful to include that in. Vague employment dates. Dates on your resume have to be complete with the accurate month and year and should also be aligned and matched to your LinkedIn profile and payroll records. If a recruiter sees a resume that only shows the year and not the month, this could pose as a red flag for a couple of reasons. First, any variation or missing information can make the recruiter feel like you're intentionally trying to hide perhaps a gap in your employment history. If this is the case, you could be seen as dishonest and get rejected right away. Second, by forgetting to add the correct months, a recruiter could also interpret that as you not being detail-oriented and could give them more reasons to closely inspect other parts of your resume as well. Either way, it is important to provide the accurate months and years to share an easy to understand story of your work experience. If you have an employment gap or have done a couple of short stints, be honest and clear about it rather than trying to hide it. Don't lie. While it's easy to think you can tweak a few accomplishments, employer names, and even job titles to come off more qualified and get away with it, I would really recommend and urge you to be forthright and honest. Chances are, if you're lying about something, it will be uncovered through the interview process, references, or an official background check. Even if for some reason you think you can bluff your way to the offer stage, it honestly isn't worth the risk or repercussions. If a lie or lies get exposed, not only will you not get the job, but depending on the severity of the deceit, you could risk the reputations of your references who all vouched for you, and can possibly even get blacklisted within your industry if the news spreads. Furthermore, if you're working with a staffing or recruiting agency, you can hurt your relationship with them and also even get blacklisted, which could hurt your job search in the future. Your resume is your first impression to the recruiter and company, and it's so important to do whatever you can to make it a positive one. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found some of these points helpful and valuable. While sending out your resume doesn't guarantee getting an interview, you can at least control 100% how you present yourself in the strongest way possible. If you have any additional questions or want to share which of these steps really helped you out, please comment below. We'd love to hear from you as well. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell. It's completely free and really helps us kickstart this channel. If you also want to follow me, feel free to add me at Preston_Park on Instagram, as I try my best to post daily. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.